Amanda. I'm the Events and Marketing Director for Bookworks, your longtime Albuquerque Independent Bookstore. We're located down in the heart of the North Valley by the Rio Grande River, and we're happy to be part of a local shopping center that's been around for quite some time. Bookworks is over 35 years old now, and probably this year's been one of our more interesting years to be in business. Dealing with the pandemic, we're getting by right now with your web orders. So thank you so much for patronizing our website. It's Bookworks without the O's, so it's BKWRKS.com. You can find Emily Sego's book there, New Mexican Food Made Easy, as well as details about our events and special offers as we move into the fall season. Right now, we have curbside hours 3 days a week, including today, which is Independent Bookstore Day. That's Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 10 to 2. You can come by and pick up books. And also Wednesday from 2 to 6. We will have calendars on hand soon, so you can come by and check out that window display. And today, we're showcasing exclusive Independent Bookstore Day merchandise. You can also find that stuff on our website. There's lots of cool products associated with today, which is a nationwide holiday celebrating independent bookstores. So today, our first event is with Emily Sego. We're also hosting Martha Burke at 3 p.m. for her book, Your Voice, Your Vote, which is a woman's guide to voting during this election in the fall. And then at 5 p.m., we close out Independent Bookstore Day with a reading from Albuquerque in Print, a local literary anthology. And the theme of that is Playing with Noir. So there are going to be lots of local authors affiliated with that if you want to tune in again a little bit later on. Right now, we're hosting what is my first cooking demonstration to host. A lot of virtual events this spring, but this is a first, so I'm pretty excited about it. Also about the fact that we're going to be learning more about making sopapillas, one of my absolute favorite Mexican fares. So many places around town with wonderful sopapillas for us to enjoy. And today we are going to learn sopapillas from Emily Sego's new book, New Mexican Food Made Easy. There it is, folks. You can find that on our website. It comes in both a paperback and a hardcover. If you want to order a book from us at Bookworks, we'll be happy to give you a signed book plate to go along with that, a signed copy from Emily. All right, today Emily is going to be in conversation with Awnya Boam. She has a podcast here locally, and she's going to talk with Emily a little bit about cooking. At the end, we'll take some questions. So if you have a question during our event, you can always type that into the chat, and we'll moderate those after we see these fluffy, delicious sopapillas. Awnya, Emily, thanks so much for joining us. I'll let you take it away, ladies.
Thank you so much. So let me go ahead and introduce my friend Emily and tell you a little bit about her before she gets started with this amazing sopapilla demonstration. So as a small child, Emily moved and lived in several different locations around the United States. Just shy of her 10th birthday, she and her family relocated from grassy green northern Utah to a home on the brown Rio Rancho West Mesa. The heat, constant sand in the windowsills, and the discovery of red ants was the hard way that it made it difficult for Emily to adjust to her new environment. But when July came and the monsoons started to fill the sky, she quickly fell under the spell of the land of enchantment as she watched the electrical storms move over the mesa and the cool of the air. Growing up in New Mexico, Emily was inspired to be a great cook by the delicious New Mexican food and the chile that was part of her new life here in New Mexico. She's always loved exploring the beautiful and diverse landscapes and cultures of New Mexico, and she loves attending cultural events and Pueblo Fiesta days every year. After she graduated from La Cueva High School, she studied illustration at Ricks College for 1 year. She quickly realized she wanted to take a different path in college and switched her major to geology, ultimately finishing her bachelor's in geology with a minor in geographic information systems and illustration from BYU, Idaho. She spent a 1.5 years living in Toronto, Canada as a missionary for her church, and she married her husband in 2005 and now has 3 children, 12, 10, and 5. She's an amazing wife and mother. I'm just gonna throw that in there myself. in addition to being an amazing cook. So she sold a cake for $135 at a cake auction in 2013, and that's what inspired her to start sharing her delicious New Mexican recipes along with other wholesome county recipes and desserts on her food blog, The Goldilocks Kitchen, and now with her cookbook. Over the years, she's appeared on television series. She's shared her recipes, tips, and tricks. She's worked for many household name brands such as Tyson Chicken, Coca-Cola, General Mills, Dove Chocolate, Pillsbury, Bob's Red Mill, Duncan Hines, A&W Root Beer, and many more. Emily is a scholar of the culinary arts as well as fine arts and continues to hone her skills today. Being a great cook is something she's always wanted to be, and I say that she's there. When she's not frying perfectly puffy golden sopapillas or hot air ballooning on the weekends, she's keeping up with her family and faith and the Rio Rancho metro area. So, Emily, why don't you go ahead and say hi to everyone?
Hello, everybody. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us today. I'm so excited. Even though none of you are here in this room with me, I feel like I'm in a room full of my friends and family, and I'm so grateful, and just thank you so much, truly, from the bottom of my heart for being here, and I really appreciate your support and for supporting Independent Bookstore Day as well. I'm very excited and happy to help promote that and to be here.
So, Emily, what was it that made you want to write a cookbook?
Well, so it's kind of a long story, and it started actually even before I started my blog. I have always loved sharing New Mexican food and recipes wherever I've been. Whenever I've been visiting friends or family out of state, or when I was in college, I was always cooking up sopapillas or various other things and sharing those with roommates and friends and family. And I've just always loved doing that. I've always wanted to be a good cook. And so this all sort of culminated after I started my blog, and I did that for several years. I noticed that the New Mexican recipes that I featured on my blog were always ranking the very highest. They were the most popular on my blog. And I thought, man, there's a real need for people, they want these recipes, they want this food. And a lot of people that don't live here really miss that, and they don't have the opportunity to just go to their local restaurant and sit down in front of some perfect enchiladas with smothered in green chili sauce. They don't have that. So I thought, I want to make this food, these recipes, available and accessible to anyone, whether they're a New Mexican native, whether they're a visitor, whether they've lived here for a while and they've moved away, and they really miss that food. So they can be able to make this food at home and share it with their friends and family, and just be able to enjoy a wonderful dish of New Mexican food wherever they are.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. What got you involved in food blogging in the first place? Kind of the start before you wrote your cookbook. So what got you started in food blogging?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I was in Idaho at the time helping my husband go through school, and one of my very best friends who is on the call today, thank you, Shotzi, for being here. She started a food blog. Actually, hers is more of a craft and food blog as well. And I thought, oh, that's great. I didn't really know what a blog was. But I thought, hey, that's great. Maybe it's something she can do to be, creative, and she loves crafting, that sort of thing. And then we sat down a few months later, and she was telling me about it, and she says, yeah, I made $600 last month. And I was like, what? You make money off of that? I was like, tell me more. I'm very interested. So anyway, I learned more about blogging and how that works. And actually there are quite a few, and it's exploded since then. This was back in 2012. So since then, blogging has exploded, but it's basically a way that people who are creative like me can share with the world our inventions and our creativeness, our photography, our recipes, and we can put that out there for free, and then we can make revenue by running ads and doing sponsorships like what I have done for some of those companies that you had listed. Those were all sponsorships, and so they paid me to create online content for them. And so it's really a fun it's a fun way that I can stay home with my family and work at the same time, and kind of work around that schedule and still have the flexibility of having a home business. But then I can also be here for my family. So that was what really appealed to me the most about starting a blog.
Awesome. Make sure I'm unmuted here. The garbage
It's all good.
garbage truck was just driving by. It was really loud. So
It's all good.
what was it that made you kind of hone in on the New Mexican food? You mentioned that it was some of the most popular recipes on your blog. Is it some of your favorites, or what kind of guided you in that direction?
They are. So yeah, so after I've been blogging for a few years, I thought, okay, I really want to branch out to writing books. I think that is a great fit for me because I have the art background, and I have a lot of practice now with photography and creating recipes. So, you know, I sat down and I thought, what can I do that would best serve my audience as a food blogger? And what can I do to serve in general? And so it came from this place of, okay, what is needed the most? And what are people asking me for the most as far as on my blog and comments and things like that, the feedback that I was getting. So it really came from that place where I just wanted to be helpful. I did. I know there's a lot of New Mexican cookbooks out right now. And there will be more, but I wanted to set out to make something that was a little bit more unique, that would be able to facilitate people. Sorry, I got like a crazy hair going there. But that would really help people to feel confident and want to give this food a try at home. So with this book, this is unique, and not just because it's a cookbook, but it also comes with a free, and I just finished filming these. It comes with a free companion course. So there's 5 modules that are included. So when you purchase the book, you'll just open up here and go to the link provided and sign up for the free course. And by doing this, I really hope that people, as they go through each video lesson, I take them through 5 of the toughest, I won't say toughest, but the 5 New Mexican recipes that usually give people the most difficulty. So I thought that would be the most helpful. So we go through the 5 recipes that I felt were the most difficult, and I just kind of walk everyone through it, show them how to do it, show them the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years to make it easy, so that people will feel more comfortable giving this a go and trying this food out, and to hopefully ensure that they'll have a success, that they'll have a good experience doing it, that it will turn out right and delicious, and that they'll continue. So that's one thing that makes this book unique. I just wanted it to be as helpful for people as possible. So I wanted to, do that little free course so that people could feel confident.
So not only do they get the cookbook when they purchase that, they also get you in their house showing them how to make these recipes. Yep. That's a pretty great deal.
Yeah, right here in my kitchen. And what's and what else I need to mention as well about that. So I have been so blessed to partner with the Hatch Chili Company in southern New Mexico. And for those of us who know and love New Mexican food, we have all heard of Hatch Chili. And I'm so honored to be able to work with them. They have been so gracious. They have given me a special deal that I can offer to the first 100 people that sign up for that course. So you'll need to purchase the book, sign up for their free course, and I will be able to email you a discount code for 10% off any order of green chili or red chili. So I'll tell you a little bit about their company as well. They are the premier website where you can order your Hatch chili, and they ship all around the country. It takes 2 days for it to get from their fields, from when it's picked to when it arrives at your door, and you can order it fresh. You can order it roasted and peeled, and they'll vacuum seal it and send it to you. You can get red chili, you can get it ground, you can get chili sauce, you can get any kind of Hatch chili, any way that you like it, sent straight to your door from the Hatch Chili Company. So they've been so kind to give pass a discount on to my readers here. So if you guys want to pick up the book and sign up for the class, oh, it's over here, sorry, sign up for the class, then I can send you that 10% off coupon for your first order of Hatch chili. And it's got to be Hatch, of course. You know, if it's not Hatch, it's no good. So you got to get Hatch chili, okay? It's better than any other chili on the planet, for sure.
So now with this book, did it make you like New Mexican food a little bit more or a little bit less?
You know, I did a lot of research actually for this book, and it was really fascinating. I learned so much about the history behind these foods as well. So I learned a lot more about where they came from. And so that really did help me to love it even more. I just think about that now as I'm cooking this food up, you know, the history behind it, where it came from, and its origins. And I just love it. I mean, it just makes me love New Mexico even more. It's such a wonderful, culturally rich state. And that's just part of why I love it. And I love the food so much.
So now these recipes, they're not just things that you pulled from different sources and threw together. These are tested and tried and true recipes, right? Is your family completely sick of New Mexican cooking?
No, they enjoy it as long as the chili is mild. They're good with it. They enjoy it. I'm a medium person myself. My brother actually loves the really, really hot stuff. He goes for the crazy hot. Yes, we do, and I have tried it a lot. I have shared many jars of red chili sauce with friends and neighbors just around the neighborhood here, with all the testing and stuff that I've done. So yeah, but we're good. No, we still love it.
I love it. So what's a piece of advice you wish you knew before starting writing a cookbook? Because I'm sure that wasn't easy.
You know, yeah, I learned a whole lot. In fact, I feel like I could almost teach a course about how to write a cookbook the wrong way. because I really stumbled around a lot. You know, of course I do what everybody does. You Google things, right? So when I was thinking about writing a book, I was like, oh, how to write a cookbook. And so I came to a website with a very similar URL, you know, how to create a cookbook. And I'm sure that person had really good intentions, but they weren't very clear with their advice. And so I kind of just took it and kind of ran. And I created the entire book in Adobe Photoshop, which was a program. It is a program that I'm very familiar with. Adobe, I think, makes great, you know, software for that sort of thing. And then I went to send it into the printer, and they said, this doesn't look very good. We can't print this. And I'm like, what? Why? And so then I ordered some copies, and everything was super pixelated. Everything. It looked so bad. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I just spent like, you know, years practically working on this book. So I visited with an amazing friend of mine, Deanne O'Connor, who was so wonderful. It was a consultant for me. She is an incredible graphic designer. And she helped me to basically fix my book. So I wrote it in the wrong program. Photoshop, no go. Do not write a book in Photoshop. Don't do it. Don't do it, okay? So you need to use a different program, which Adobe InDesign is what's really made for that sort of thing. And that, yeah. So she steered me in the right direction, thankfully. So besides being wonderful at helping with the book design itself, she helped me to get back on track with that. And so I will forever be grateful to her for her help. So yes. And along with that, just learning the ins and outs of launching a book and selling a book. So, you know, if you're going to put the time into writing it, you also have to market it. There's really, it's not just this, you know, you can't just put it out there and then the sales come. Okay, you have to do a lot of work behind the scenes. Even if you're not a self-published author like me, I'm a self-published author. Even if you go the traditional route of publishing and say you get signed on with a big publisher and they pay you in advance and you write the book and you basically hand it over to them because they're buying it from you. Essentially, they own it. A lot of times they don't market it for you either. It's really up to the author to get out there and market it. So yeah, so I'm doing that now. Learning from that.
Awesome.
Oh, yes, and by the way, so I think our sopapilla dough here is ready. So I'm going to just jump into this real quick, and then we'll answer more questions in just a second. But I just wanted to go ahead and get these frying. So I just wanted to show everybody. So this sopapilla dough right here, okay, I just mixed up, and as you'll notice, it's in a baggie. It's really important to keep sopapilla dough moist, because if it dries out at all, it won't puff. So you've got to make sure that it's gonna that it's moist enough that the dough can expand when you put it in your hot oil. And in fact, I need to test my oil. Let's see if it's hot enough before I start rolling this out. Okay, it is not hot enough. All right, so we'll let this warm up for a little bit longer. So I could take some more questions if you'd like, Awnya. And I'll set this aside for maybe 5 more minutes, and we'll just let that oil continue to warm up there.
So I know that this sopapilla recipe is in your cookbook. What page is that?
Yes, it is. So I am making the recipe on page 16. This one right here. That's the traditional New Mexican sopapillas. I also have a Bisquick version that's quick and easy as well. If to completely make the dough by hand. I do prefer the taste of this one, but this one is good too. This one tastes good as well. So we're making this one right here, page 16. And I love this recipe. Of course, this is one I've made for years. Thank you so much to my friend Genevieve, who taught this to me many, many, many years ago. And I've made them ever since and just loved it.
Now, I didn't know what a sopapilla was until like recently. Can you, for maybe somebody who doesn't know what a sopapilla is, will you explain kind of what that is?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. Yes, all right. So a sopapilla is a thin square of dough that is fried, and because the dough is so thin and it's moist, it's got the moisture in it, and it's got some baking powder in it, it will puff up, and it actually is hollow. It leaves a big hollow space in the middle, like a pillow. So sopapillas are like little pillows, and you just bite a corner off, and you drizzle some honey inside and eat them, and they're amazing. They're so good. So there's something you can find in most New Mexican restaurants. And strangely enough, yeah, only here in New Mexico. And I shouldn't say strangely, but that's because they arose from a kind of a blending of cultures here. So, you know, way back in the day when the natives were, and the Pueblo people are most of them are still in their ancestral lands, but they were able to, they came to, their lands, and the government would give them flour and oil. And at first they didn't really know what to do with it. Eventually they and some actually ate the oil raw, and it made them really, really sick. So, which I feel bad about. Anyway, but eventually that's where fry bread came from. So there's fry bread, not just even here in New Mexico. There are unique types of fry bread through most Western Native American tribes. They have their own versions. So, but here in New Mexico, it's the big fry bread rounds that you see, and those fry breads kind of morphed and evolved in sort of a way as with the Hispanics, and they decided, oh, we're just going to make a small version of that, a thin small version, and it puffs up like a pillow, so you can put your honey inside of it instead of on top of it, like a traditional Indian fry bread. You put your honey inside, and it's like a little meal on the go, I guess. You can put stuffings in there too, which I love to do as well, and actually turn them into a dinner meal by putting stuffings in there, which is amazing. So
Ooh, that sounds so tasty. I can't wait to see you make
them. You got fat, and you got the sweet from the honey, and bread. It's good. It's all good.
Awesome. So let's jump back into talking about publishing your book. Did you kind of outline your book beforehand? Did you just kind of know, like, these are the recipes that I love the most? Like, how did you choose what to put in your book?
Right. Well, that's a great question. So, I spend a lot of time, outlining. You definitely want to do that. You want to have, some idea of where to go. And then it was just from there, it was after the outline, it was just testing the recipes, testing, the taste, whether I wanted it in the book or not. That was something that I kind of took the liberty to do myself, because I'm a self-published author. authors who sign in or sign up with, publishing companies don't really have that flexibility or freedom to decide necessarily what they want in their book and what they don't want, because a big editor is going to come in and say, nope, I don't like that recipe, and I want you to put something else in its place, and well, maybe I really like that one, and they didn't. So that's another reason why I decided to go self-published, is because it gives me that flexibility to really create something that's mine, that's my own, and I'm not selling it off to anyone else. It's kind of my baby, and I get to keep it that way. Like I keep the rights to it. So that's nice. Yeah. So yeah, definitely takes some organization, and it's been many years in the making.
So we had a question come in. How do you test your recipes?
Oh, that is a great question. So, well, first I'll make them here at home, and when I get them, and sometimes several times, when I get them to where I like them, then they go out to friends, family, the ballooning community. So I will, share, bring recipes, and have them share, or I'll bring recipes out, and they can taste them for me, and then I get feedback from kind of my slice anyway of what I can get of New Mexicans to try out the recipes for me.
I think all of us on the video are like, how do we get on that list?
Oh, right. Hey, just email me. I'll tell you, I'll call you or I'll text you. You can drive on over here and
there you go.
So like I was telling you earlier, Awnya, you can come over and eat sopapillas with me after we're done.
I might have to do that.
She knows where I live.
So along with testing these recipes, I know you did a lot of research on the different recipes, and for your book, what was that process like?
So it was actually really wonderful. I really enjoyed that. So lots of cookbook research. I read through lots of cookbooks, lots of history books as well. I read a lot about just the history of New Mexico, everything that was involved in that, the natives, the Hispanics coming in, the ranching population coming in, and all of these different ethnicities influencing this amazing food that we get to eat here every day. Yeah, so I got information from any source that I could. So whether it was online, cookbooks, regional things, I even went and attended cooking classes in Santa Fe, just to learn everything that I could about this food, to make sure that I present the best product, the best recipes possible that would be the most helpful.
So Emily, one of the viewers is asking that she saw you use the utensil handle to check your oil. Can you explain what you're doing there?
Oh yes, thank you so much. Yes, I love this trick, and this is actually a trick I show you in my little cooking course. So and this is a great trick. So if you don't have a thermometer to check your oil, which is really great, I highly recommend you use a food thermometer. They're not that expensive. I do have one, but I'm so used to doing it this way that I don't usually use my thermometer when I'm frying oil. So I have vegetable oil in here, and all you need to do is just take a wooden handle from a spoon here, and I stick it in the oil. I wish I could show you guys. I didn't get a close-up camera set up, but when you stick it in the oil, if the oil is hot and if it's ready for the dough, then you're going to see a whole bunch of little bubbles. You're basically going to start cooking the wood in a sense. Okay, the wood will be fine. It's not going to hurt your spoon, but you're going to start seeing a whole lot of bubbles coming up real quick when you do that. If you stick this into the oil and you only see like just like one or two, or just a real weak response, which is what actually I'm getting right now, and I have my little cooker here is just not quite warming up this oil hot enough for me. It's almost there. Hopefully it'll be there in time for me to fry up a few sopapillas for you guys. So I'm getting a little bit of bubbles, but I'm not getting as many as I want to see. So that is the trick, and I love that trick. So I just use that all the time when I'm frying. I don't know, I just like it. I think it's just fun to watch the bubbles. I'll just set that right there for now.
So Emily, what are some of your favorite recipes from the book? What are the must tries?
Oh gosh, let's see. I'm gonna have to say the green chili apple pie. And Oh, definitely. Sopapillas have always been one of my favorites. Yeah. So that's pretty darn good. And the red chili is actually really, really good too. I really like that one a lot. So yes. So those are all amazing. What's that? My husband says the one with the meat. So he's telling y'all what his favorite recipe is. So there's quite a few. Oh, the carne adobada?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the carne adobada. Okay, so the meat eater. Actually, I love meat too, but that is a really good one as well. I think I have a big picture of it in here. Let's see, I'll show it to you. Carne adobada is chunks of meat cooked, slow cooked in red chili. Let's see if I can find a picture over here. I got a big picture somewhere of it. Where are you at? Of course, I've looked through this book a million times. Oh, okay. I know where it's at. Got that. And where is it? I think it's right in the front. Technical difficulties, everybody.
All this talk of food is making me so hungry.
Here, Cameron, you find it. Let's see. I know it's right in here. Oh, it's under stuffings. That's why. I think I have it under stuffings.
You should talk about the sopapillas.
So, yeah. Yes. All right. So the way I have this book written out, there it is I have all the breads in the front, and then so this is the carne adobada. I don't know if you can see it there. Kind of a close up. It's really delicious. It's one of my favorites. One of my husband Cameron's favorites as well. So.
And it goes really good inside.
Yeah, so you can stuff that inside sopapillas or roll it up in a tortilla and eat it there with just a dollop of sour cream or something. It's great, and it's just great on its own as a main entree too.
Awesome. What are some of the lessons that you learned while writing this cookbook? What are some of the things you learned and didn't know beforehand?
I feel like if anything, I learned perseverance, because I published the first edition of this book it was 3 years ago, and I really didn't know what I was doing. and I could have just let it go, but I didn't want to. I'd spent too much time on it. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna make it bigger, better. I'm gonna put more recipes in it. I'm gonna make it more helpful. And I just thought I really want this to be a reflection of myself, and I want it to be as best as it can. I want to put out a really high quality product. So I tried again. So I went back and I learned more. I added more recipes in there, and I stuck with it. Oh, am I still here? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So anyway, so that, I think if anything, just to stick with it and not give up, even though sometimes it might be hard or frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
to stick with it.
I love that. I'm sure writing a book in general is not easy, but especially a cookbook where you are not only putting pen to page, but then you need to do the pictures and test the recipes over and over and over again. Like, that has got to be a difficult creative process, but I know that I'm sure excited for your cookbook.
Thank you, Awnya.
Now, one thing I want to point out is that the free video course that you have for this did not come with the first version, correct?
No, it did not. No, and that version is no longer available. I took it down. I took it off of Amazon just last week. When the new one was available. Right. So that's brand new. Yeah, that is a new addition to this second edition of this cookbook. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us what you're doing now with the sopapilla dough.
Okay, great. All right. So what I'm doing here, so I'm going to just take a portion out, and I'm leaving the rest in the bag. I'm going to keep it closed. Now, your sopapilla dough, I don't know if you guys can see this. Maybe I'll hold it up here like this. So it's because it's had time to rest, that's another really important part of frying sopapillas. So once you mix up the dough, you want to put it in this bag and let it rest for at least 10 minutes, okay, to let the gluten relax so that your dough is nice and easily stretchable. So again, so it can stretch out when it's puffing up in the pot. So I'm just taking a piece off and I'm closing up the bag to keep all the rest of my dough nice and moist. And I'm going to start rolling this out. So what you want to do is roll it thinner than pizza dough, but not too thin, because then it will just fry up like a cracker. So you want it to be, I would say probably between an 1/8 and a 1/16, probably more on the 1/8 inch thick. Is perfect. Oh, and another really handy trick, just cut your sopapilla squares out with pizza cutter. You can make them perfectly square if you want them to look just like they do in a restaurant. Of course, when you're at home, you know, I don't care. They you know, little pieces like this are going to taste fine too. So, you know, it's totally up to you, however you want them to look. And so I'm going to cut and make maybe four pieces of dough. Okay. So then you can just put back the little extras and work them into a new square of dough later. Okay, so, all right, everyone can see. Okay, so I've got my dough here. I'm going to peel it up like this. And then I'm going to keep this upright. Okay, the top stays on the top, bottom stays on the bottom. Okay, and then I'm just going to gently put it in here. And if it doesn't start frying up real quick, then it may not puff. Okay, I think we may be okay here. We'll have to see. All right, so it's gonna float. It's gonna float up. And then, yeah, this oil still isn't hot enough. Hopefully I can get it to hot, you know, be hot enough for you guys so you guys can see these sopapillas puff up by the time our meeting is over here. Oh, here it goes, just a little bit. It's starting to go. I think I've never actually tried frying with this little portable electric burner. So that could be part of it. I've done other cooking with it. In fact, I use it in my other videos. And this one is puffing up just a little bit. There it goes. So you want to actually also use your whatever you're using to fry. I love these spider strainers. These are great. And I kind of will splash a little bit of the oil over the top of the dough. And that helps to get both sides. Okay, yep, so good. That one did puff. So it's barely hot enough. And it's on high. It's up as high as it can go. I just have a lot of oil in here, so it's gonna take a little while. Okay, so that one's gonna fry. I'm gonna put another one in, and you can fire another question at me if you'd like, Anya.
Stephanie is asking, her 12-year-old is showing interest in learning to cook. Are the recipes easy enough for him to make with assistance or with your video tutorial class?
Yes, he should be able to. Yes, and assistance is good. I mean, unless unless he already has some experience cooking in the kitchen, it's really kind of what you feel he can do. But yeah, they're all really easy. I wanted to make all of these recipes easy for the very beginner to be able to cook these, even if you're not like a super chef-y kind of a person where you're in the kitchen all the time. You should still be just fine with all of these recipes, any one of them.
So if we're a little challenged in the kitchen, then we should be able to walk through it too.
Yeah,
you don't have to be a gourmet chef.
No, absolutely not. And that's I want this food to be available for everybody. I really do. Anyone, any skill level.
Awesome. We have a question. Do you get your red chili from the Hatch chili store as well, or do you have a different source for your red chili?
So you definitely can. I think right now they are out of red chili pods. I think hopefully that will be coming again later in the fall. They're running up against the whole COVID pandemic as well. They're having a hard time getting workers out actually to harvest in the fields. I just talked to the owner the other day. So they're a little bit behind schedule, which I know that, they're doing the best that they can to get the chilies out to everybody. And they should be, drying. So the chilies have to ripen. So green chilies ripen into red chilies if left on the vine. And then the red chilies can either be strung up on a chili ristra, which I have one hanging just outside the camera here, or they can be commercially dried. And then they're packaged. In fact, I think I might still have some here in the pantry. Yep. So for the time being, since the Hatch Chili Store is out, I just buy these. These are Bueno brand. And you know what? You can find these all around the country, not just here in New Mexico. Just check the Hispanic aisle at your local grocer, and you should be able to find red chili pots, which is what you can use to make authentic New Mexican red chili. Okay, so there's a free advertisement for Bueno.
Are there specific utensils or cookwares that you think are essential for cooking New Mexican food?
No, in fact, I kind of try to avoid. I show you some tips and tricks in the videos on how to save your money and not have to go out and buy anything special. You really don't. I mean, some people like to buy, tortilla presses or a comal, which is a flat cast iron griddle, basically, that you can use to cook your tortillas. You really don't need any of that. I mean, they're kind of handy, but I make all of my tortillas without any of that stuff. And then I would just say a food thermometer is good for anyone to have. Anybody who cooks at all should have one. That's like the one utensil I will say you should, or cooking gadget that you should get. And if you're going to be doing any frying, these are helpful, but not necessary. For the longest time, I just used just tongs, See if I have any in here. Yeah. So you just use these too, just to, grab your stuff out of the oil. So you really don't. I don't think you do. You can make do with whatever, or even a big spoon. You can fry sopapillas with a big spoon as well.
So now for our sopapillas, about how long are you leaving them in the oil, or is it more of a visual thing?
It is a visual thing. They've been in here for a long time, a lot longer than I usually like for them to be. Of course, I'll attribute that to the technical difficulties here. Usually, if the oil is hot and ready, it only takes about 2 minutes total. It's a minute per side, roughly. But just look at the color. You want a nice golden brown color, just like what you see here on the cover of the book. And once you see that side that's in the oil is that nice color, you just flip it over and cook the other side. And then just put it on, just put it in a bowl or some kind of a plate that was on some paper towels.
Emily, the Hatch Green Chili Store, do you happen to have their website?
Yes, so it is www.hatch, hatch-green-chili.com. hatchgreenchili.com with a dash between each word.
Awesome. And we have that link in the comments if anybody needs to go get them some green or red chilies when those are back in stock. Why do you put the top side up first? Why does that make a difference with the sopapillas?
So, and see, these have been sitting here for a while as well. So basically what you want to do is keep the bottom is going to stay more moist, right? Because it's not exposed to the air. And when you put this in, let's see if I wish I could show you. When you put it in there, again, you want that dough to be as moist as possible. And since this has actually been sitting out for a while, we'll see what happens here. Oh, it's bubbling a little bit better now. It's just a way to make sure that you have the most flexible side down so that it can puff up as good as it can. I don't know if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't, but
is it maybe because the water would come out more if you put the downside up and it would evaporate? Like it kind of seals in that moisture better because it's down?
I think it's just because if you flipped it over and you put the dry side down in, I don't think it's going to puff as much. Like the dry side is going to cook and it's not going to expand.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. This is going much better now. All right.
Let's talk about your book a little bit more. What are some of the common traps aspiring writers fall into?
Not doing research on your audience. I think that you need to have an audience. That's important. And I'm grateful that, you know, I'm in a different place than a lot of authors because I already have an audience. I have a blog, you know, and I have a lot of this content that's already out online, which is really helpful. And so I can actually ask them. I can just ask my readers, what do you want? What do you need from me? And that way I can be the most helpful to them. So I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to write a book because I like the subject and it's great, but without really picking a genre and researching that genre and the audience, and maybe writing something that you like, but something that the audience is going to like as well.
Awesome. So I believe we only have about 13 more minutes before the call will end. Okay. If they want to get the book, where are they going to go? If they've been living under a rock and they don't know where to find you, Emily, where are they going to go to get this book and your video course?
Yes. So you're just going to go to my author page on bookworks.com. So just as Amanda explained earlier, it's Bookworks, but without any of the O's. It's BKWRKS.com. And there's my author page is there, and there's links for both. You can order the hardcover edition, which is my personal favorite. I love seeing my book in hardcover this time. And then also the paperback as well. And you may have to go to bookworks.com/Emily Sego, and it'd be Emily-Sego. And then,
awesome.
And then you should be able, it's in, if a lot of you watching, we're getting my emails from the Goldilocks Kitchen. The links are in those emails as well for getting to the Bookworks page.
Perfect. And we've also put that in the chat. If anybody wants to click that link and not have to worry about entering it directly, we have it for both the Hatch Green Chili company and for your link to get that book. So be sure and click that. And then for getting the video course, so all of that information is inside the cookbook, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, there's a full page spread. So it's right in the first few pages of the book. So you'll just follow the link in there, and then it'll take you to a page on my website, and you'll be able to put your info in there. And then it's an email course, so it'll be sent out to you every couple of days, and you'll get a new video lesson. And I have challenges at the end of each lesson because I want people to really get in the kitchen and try cooking this food. So there's a challenge at the end of each tutorial, and there is a bonus recipe at the end of the lesson. The last lesson, sorry.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, my favorite part of your cookbook is that these recipes are easy. They're accessible. You don't have to have fancy gadgets or tools to make these. It's just accessible. And for someone like me that isn't necessarily familiar with New Mexican cooking, I can do it too.
You totally can. It's so good. And you know, I tell you, the first time that you make a batch of red chili from scratch all by yourself, I mean, there's nothing better. It's so good. And you can put it all over everything. And I love green chili too. In fact, usually when I go out, I'm more of a green person when they ask me that question, you know, red or green. So I usually will say green. But the color does not mean hotness at all. Like you can have super hot green chili and really mild red chili. So if you go out, don't forget, you know, to ask how hot the chili is for the day.
Interesting. And so when you're ordering it, is there like categories for different spice factors or?
Not really. You can just ask, you can just ask them. It is kind of a subjective thing. So you've got to kind of know your waiter, and they should know, your server. They should know when you say, I want mild, they should know, okay, mild, we've got the mild, we've got the medium, the hot, and down in Hatch, they grow chilies for each of those things. They have specific chilies for mild, for medium, for hot, and their green chili is definitely available. I didn't know if maybe I misspoke earlier, but Their green chili is 100% available right now, and you can buy red chili fresh. They just don't have any dried red chili pods right now for making red chili sauce. But they sell red
Awesome.
chili sauce like already made on their website.
Can you tell us a little bit about your foreword to your book by Katie Keck?
Yes, thank you for asking. I think maybe Katie might be joining us as well. And if she is, thank you so much, Katie. Katie is an incredible, incredible friend of mine. I met her, oh gosh, it's probably been four years now. But she is, I mean, I would say she's a celebrity chef and author. She has published cookbooks already. She travels all around the country creating beautiful food. So her main job is a food stylist. So that is a thing. So she styles the food for professional photo shoots. She's worked with numerous stars. She's been on, the Today Show, several other, TV outlets. And she does a lot of philanthropy as well. She is very much involved with, making sure that food gets to the people that need it the most around the world. So she's definitely involved with a lot of those things. She's an incredible example for me. And I'm so honored that I had, that she offered or was willing to write the foreword to my book. And I wish that she could be here. Before COVID, I was planning on having, maybe one or two events where she would be able to fly out and be here with me in Albuquerque. And sadly, we can't do that, at least for the time being. So maybe at a future time, Katie will be able to join me and we can, have an event together.
Awesome. So how do we finish up these sopapillas so that we can devour them?
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay. Got to get the honey out. Okay. Oh, I was hoping to have a huge platter full of them, but my oil wasn't cooperating with me today. All right. So, and you want them to be a little bit darker than this, just so you know. So this is like barely cooked, but I will eat it anyway. So bite off corner.
Mm.
Right. I'm sorry you can't see in there, but there's a big cavity. And you're just going to put your honey right inside. Mmm. Oh, that's good.
I heard the crunch. When you bit into it, I could hear the crunch.